What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Delay of Game, episode 123. I'm your co-host, Marcus. This is the average man's perspective on football.
Sad.
That's my DJ horn.
Your face said everything, Herman.
The DJ horn. You never heard that one?
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Not in this show form. No, we have not.
Right.
We about to tear up the club. We about to close out the club, y'all. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
You are a hater.
And next up, last but never least, is Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
And me, I'm 56 years old.
Damn. I'm sorry. As you can see, we're missing Brian, Mr. Eddie Kane Jr. He called in sick today. We're gonna want a doctor's note to verify this before you come back on the show. Those are the rules. We hope you feel better, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, you better not be trying to spin off your own podcast, there, buddy.
Yeah, we will. We got people watching, so you better not be trying to do that. Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. You can catch us on Facebook in our Facebook group, Delay of Game. We're on Twitter at Delay of Game 3, and on Instagram at the official Delay of Game. Week 15 is in the books. We had a couple of teams win the division. We had some blatant cheating and robberies going on by the referees.
There you go.
We're going to talk about that a couple of times tonight.
There were some questionable calls, that's for sure.
It wasn't questionable. They were BS calls. I do that, Herman. You don't do that. Okay? I do that.
Whatever.
Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands down. We don't do that here. But yeah, we got some we had some good games last week. Herman's hosting the show tonight. Go and start off, Herman.
All right, y'all. Let's get into this. We're not gonna have no whining about no officials this week because
we're gonna whine. We ain't whining, telling the truth. It ain't whining.
Knows how that goes anyway. Looks like they were pretty much on par, like they have been all season long. But anyway, let's get into our news topics. And actually, our first news topic is a whiner topic. So, Marcus, we'll go ahead and let you take this.
It is not a whiner topic. It is facts. It's facts, so people will know the truth.
Whining.
Okay. Tell the truth. And
I wish I had my music queued up right now.
Would you like it? We can play this.
I do the sound effects, sir.
Oh, okay.
During the Sunday night game between New York and Washington, Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin was flagged for an illegal formation penalty that wiped out a touchdown in the final moments of Sunday night's loss to the Giants. And after the game, he said he checked with the official to make sure he was lined up illegally. McLaurin said that he was lined up on that play the same way he had lined up on every play where he was supposed to be on the line of scrimmage, and he turned to the official to see if he was on the line of scrimmage. The official told him to move up a little bit, and he did. He did what the official told him, and as soon as the ball was snapped, the official threw his penalty flag. If that don't sound like it's a setup like Jerry Jones paid some people off, I don't know what does. You're muted. You're muted, sir. Mark, go ahead and read the next story.
My story I have.
Hey, I'm the next story. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Clear-cut violation of robbery. That's all I'm saying.
YouTube TV has emerged as the favorite to land the NFL's Sunday ticket package of out-of-market games. But the sides have not finalized a deal, according to multiple reports. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report that YouTube TV, owned by Google, was the front runner for the package that allows fans to watch any Sunday afternoon game. Sunday Ticket has been on DirecTV since 1994. The satellite provider has paid $1.5 billion per year on an 8-year contract that expires at the end of the season. Viewers pay around $300 a season for Sunday Ticket, which averages 2 million subscribers. As of August, DirecTV had a total of 13.9 million subscribers. And to update this, the numbers that I came across was that YouTube TV might pay $2.5 billion a year for the package. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
How much is it for the ticket? How much is that?
$300.
About $300.
I hope YouTube TV gets it. I'm gonna try it out because I use YouTube TV.
Yeah, it sounds
that's
like
a lot of money.
All right, Mark, you can take the last one.
Indianapolis interim head coach Jeff Saturday said Nick Foles, the former Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl hero, will start Monday night game against the LA Chargers. For the second time this season, Matt Ryan has been benched. But this time, this wasn't his fault. But nevertheless, he's been benched.
The whole team's been
Again.
benched. The whole team's been benched.
They're the Colts, you know. All right, so those are our news stories of the week. Let's go ahead and move into these hot topics that we chose to talk about today. All right, so the first hot topic, with the NFL playoffs fast approaching, if you're an NFL coach and you've wrapped up the number one seed or you've wrapped up to the point where you can't improve your seeding, would you rest your starters or keep playing them? I'll let Mark start this one off.
You know, this is always a little dicey subject because if you figure if you got the number one seed and you don't play, you're going to have a long extended time before your guys have action again. So sometimes you can be a little rust can come out. You come out a little shaky, a little rusty for that. But then the flip part about that is if you're playing them and they get hurt, you jeopardize the ability for you to continue on through that playoff run to make it to the Super Bowl. So it's always kind of it's a little dicey thing. I think if you're healthy and you want to stay healthy, you got a couple of players with a couple of nicks and a couple of injuries, you do want to set them so they can get themselves fully at 100%, or you want them fully, healthy so you can play. So I would side on the side of sitting my starters if I'm already locked up with a playoff bid or already know where we're going to be sitting at in the playoff, especially if it's the first round bye. I don't think I want to risk that injury going into the playoff, the postseason. So I'll have to go with sitting my starter for the remainder of the season or the remainder of the games to keep them healthy and keep them from not getting injured. So I will sit them.
Marcus, what you think?
Well, much like Mark said, I think it's a sticky situation. I personally think that if you are the number one seed and you are hot right now, you're having a hot streak, I say keep playing. I tried to look it up just now, but I couldn't find the most recent data. But the number one seeds rarely make it to the Super Bowl.
I know.
Rarely make it to the Super Bowl. And so I feel like if you're hot, you need to stay hot, play, keep playing, and keep that streak going on. Now, if you're number one seed and you're cold right now, like I don't see how that would be possible. I had to look at this to see who's number one seed and it's cold right now. Then maybe yes, you're cold. Maybe you need time to sit your dudes, focus more. But overall, I'm going to say no. You shouldn't sit them. And I know there's risk of injury, but hey, there's risk of injury. People get hurt in the preseason. What's his name? Kyler Murray had an injury that didn't even involve wasn't even a contact injury. You get injured in practice. You get injured at home. So I would say no. One, because the number one seed really makes it, and if you're hot, you need to stay hot and keep playing. So I would say no, don't sit them.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of the argument, and I guess my approach may be to take the middle ground between the two, and that would be to play them maybe half a game, and that way they can stay kind of in the routine that they're used to, maybe even a third of the game where they come out after halftime so that they're in the full mode of the season, so they don't get that rust and get that cold by sitting them. But you can also hopefully try to avoid some of the bang up, some of the injury by maybe not necessarily having them play a full game. It is hard when your team, usually number one seed is hot, or they're playing really good ball, and it's really hard when you sit them because you're messing with the continuity and
that flow.
Yeah, that flow that you got going on. And then at the same time too, if you're the number one seed, you're already going to get that bye. So that 1 week you're going to already sit them. Before that, then you've extended the rust almost. So yeah, it's a hard thing, and it's always that back and forth about the right way to do it. And I don't think there is really a right way, because If you go out there and you're playing for nothing and you get some one of your key players hurt, everybody's gonna be looking at you sideways, like, why in the heck was that player on the field and this and that. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Mm-hmm. But you just got to judge and know your team. And like I said, I would maybe try to play them a half, something like that, and then pull them out. That way you kind of keep them into somewhat of a rhythm. Going into the playoffs. So
I think the best bet is, if you number one seed, how about you blow out teams these last couple of games and you're able to sit your stars in the second half just because you win so you win by so much.
Exactly. Jump up in the first half and blow them out. I mean, if you locked it up, it doesn't even matter if you lose these games at that point.
Yeah.
If you show good in the first half when your starters were in there, it was your backups in the second half. So,
the coach tried that the last game and it didn't work either. So,
they didn't sit anybody. They didn't take any starters out, did they?
No, they didn't.
No, he's being funny. Yeah, nah, they ain't sitting no stars out. They 4-9 or whatever. They ain't sitting nobody. All right, let's move on to the next topic. So, in the Raiders versus Patriots game on Sunday, with the game tied on the last play of the game, instead of taking a knee or running out of bounds or just ending the play, the Patriots attempted to pull out a miracle by throwing lateral passes in an attempt to score a walk-off touchdown. Instead, the Raiders got a miracle by intercepting one of the passes and scoring a touchdown to win the game. Who takes the blame for this debacle? Rhamondre Stevens, who started the lateral passes, Jacoby Myers, who threw the interception, the OC, or the coach? Marcus, I will let you start this one off.
I say all four. First of all, I'm going to start with Rhamondre Stevenson. How do you not know that the game is tied? Do you not know the game is tied? Run in the play, run out of bounds. What's the point of doing all that?
Did he say he didn't know the game was tied?
I don't know, but I'm did he not? I mean, you're not losing the game. You know what I'm saying? Live to fight another day. To me, that was just stupid. And then I had to go to Jacoby Myers. Now, he didn't start the lateral passes, but if you look at the pass he threw, who were you throwing it to?
Anybody. Actually, Mac Jones. I
think Matt Jones was black jersey blended in with the design on there, so he didn't see him. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. He didn't see him.
And then I'm gonna blame the OC, and there's actually two OCs. I think what's his name? What's the defensive court? What's the old defensive coordinator name? He used to be Detroit's coach.
Matt Patricia.
And I think isn't Joe Judge also a part OC over there? I think it's two of them. I heard it was two. I think Joe Judge is back there as an OC too. So I blame those two for not talking to the team and giving them explicit directions. Hey, overtime. If we can get in field goal range, it is what it is. If not, we go to overtime. And that's another thing. Why not just go for field goal range? Why not? You're going to throw the ball back. You can't kick a field goal. Not just go for field goal range. And then I got to go, the buck stops with the head coach. I feel like back in the day, this never would have happened. We know what kind of coach Bill Belichick is. We know he's a hardliner. People do what they do what he tells them to do, or they get punished. Like that cornerback in the Super Bowl. I forget his name, but there was a cornerback in the Super Bowl that got punished for something. I mean, how do you let this slide? It seems like Bill Belichick he's losing control of the team because I can't see that happen on any of the prior Patriots teams. He just had too much. He had too much power. Had too much say. People were scared of him. It don't seem like he was scared of him. They just pulled this out because there's no way that he signed off on this. There's no way that the OC signed off on this. I mean, the statistics is simple. Just if you can get in the field goal range, get in the field goal range. But doing all that lateral pass and all that, I mean, that's just crazy. It's just a debacle. It may be time for the Bill Belichick era to end because I think this is one of the worst debacles I've seen in NFL history. It was outrageous and made no sense. So everybody's to blame, from Robert Kraft all the way from top to the bottom. Everybody's to blame.
Yeah, this falls on one person only, and that's the head coach. First of all, you got a head coach who has a defensive coordinator as the offensive coordinator. So let's you can always start there first. But the bottom line is that the head coach should have told them, kneel on the ball and let's play for overtime. Point blank, period. If his defensive coordinator, whatever he is, doesn't know that, he shouldn't be on the field coaching. He shouldn't be an offensive coordinator. So this all falls on Bill Belichick. The players didn't just go out there and start ad-libbing on their own. The NFL players don't usually do that type of stuff like that. Not that lateral crap. So this falls on the coach. Point blank, period. Bill Belichick, I'm not going to say it's time for his air to end or his reign to end, but if he keeps doing stupid stuff like this, yeah, the time is getting real close right now, real close. Get yourself an offensive coordinator who can groom your quarterback, your young quarterback that you have, and stop playing games if this is the guy that you're moving forward with. They're not that bad of a team.
Drafted very high for it too. Drafted very high.
Yeah, they're not that bad of a team. I mean, they're in the playoff hunt still. They were actually in the playoff slot last week when they won that game. So quit playing around with this corny defensive coordinator as your offensive coordinator and get some real coaches on the team. So I definitely blame Belichick. Mark,
Another thing. Bill Belichick's Patriots are 42-42 since Tom Brady have left. 500.
Well, I mean, he lost the Hall of Fame quarterback. Anybody's going to be that way. I don't care what coach you are. Nobody's that good when you lose a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I mean, still.
Mark?
You know what? When I saw this play, the first thing I thought about, the Patriots was the last team I would ever thought this would happen to. Reason why? Because all through the league, it's told how well they're taught practicing certain situations in certain games. Everybody talk about it. Former players, former coaches, everybody talk about this. So when I see this, I'm like, this ain't the Patriots. It's a college team or something. That's the first thing to come to mind. I'm going to say it's all on the daggone offensive coordinator. If you gave instructions before you started that play to say, hey, look, we're going to kneel down this ball, go play in the overtime, that's what you should have told the players. You should have told them that. You shouldn't have ran a run play to even give them the opportunity to do anything like this. So I'm going to blame the offensive coordinator to say, hey, look, you should have gave them direct information, a direct call to say, hey, look, kneel down on the ball. We playing for overtime. That way there'd been no misunderstanding whatsoever. But you got to talk about, hey, Mac Jones didn't have a chance against Chandler getting that tackle. He got steamrolled.
That was like a Travis Henry stiff arm, boy.
It was.
He threw him like he was a little kid. Get away.
Right. Like the how the mascots be treating the kids when they be playing the tackle.
Yep.
Man, it was just ridiculous. But I'm gonna blame the OC. Offensive coordinator deserved the blame for that because he should have made sure that they played that the next call in that would have been that we go into overtime. That's what I think it should have been.
Yeah, in a situation like that, you give explicit instructions. Hey,
exactly.
Yeah, situational football, just like the comment was just made. But again, Bill Belichick's supposed to be known for coaching his team with situational football.
That's what the word around the NFL is. That's what they say.
Right.
They say you practice every situation. Practice every little
way. Every situation. Yep.
So. All right, so those are our hot topics of the week. Let's go ahead and get into these games. We are going to start with here we go. Let's start with the Thursday nighter. You had the San Francisco 49ers traveling into Seattle. 49ers won this one 21-13. Brock Purdy was 17 of 26 for 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was sacked 1 time. Christian McCaffrey, 26 carries, 108 yards. Leading receiver was George Kittle, 4 receptions for 92 yards with 2 touchdowns. On the flip side, Geno Smith was 31 for 44, 238 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Kenneth Walker, he had 12 carries for 47 yards. And Tyler Lockett was a leading receiver, 7 receptions for 68 yards. This was an okay game. San Francisco is very dangerous right now. They're playing good football. Their defense is playing. They got their run game going with Christian McCaffrey. They finally figured out, I guess, how to use him or how they want to use him. They just needed to work him into their offense. George Kittle seems to be back a little bit. I think he got that because the Debo was out. But I did pick Seattle on this one. I thought Seattle was playing hot. I thought Seattle had a chance at home with the inexperienced Brock Purdy at quarterback. I'm not buying into Brock Purdy. I don't care what anybody says. When the playoffs start, you're going to need that experienced quarterback to be there for you. So they're going to ride this right now. But when them playoffs start, we're going to see how that plays out. But they have a good enough defense that can probably carry them. They got a good enough range. But teams are going to stack that line and stack that box. And they're going to shut down that run to make Brock Purdy throw the football. That's what I would do if I was a defensive coordinator. So I picked the Seahawks, and I got this one wrong. Mark, who'd you have?
Yeah, I was with you. I took the Seahawks on this one. Brock Purdy looks pretty good still. The Niners got a handful of big plays for the rookie in this game, man, which helped them do real well. He was surprisingly during practice, he was limited on throwing. He didn't throw it under in practice because it's oblique injury he had. It was an inability to kind of rotate his hips and torso. But he still played well in this game, man. They were effective without Debo Samuel, and I thought that was important to see. They had a pretty much good running game. He did everything he needed to do, but not lose a game for him. But I took Seattle on this one too, but I got it wrong.
And yeah, they put up 170 yards on the ground. So good running game. Marcus?
That's right. Lone Wolf is bad, but I don't know how y'all pick San Francisco. I mean, how y'all pick Seattle. You talk about a hot team. San Francisco is hot right now. I'm telling you, I believe in Brock Purdy. I got 2 names for you to why they can win a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer. Okay? Their defense is good enough. They don't need Brock Purdy to win no games. They just need him to not lose the game.
Not to lose the game.
He was 17-26, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I give you 2 other names, Chris McCaffrey and George Kittle. Everybody knows a tight end is a quarterback's safety valve. George Kittle seems to be back. As long as he stays healthy, they can go far. And as long as Chris McCaffrey stays healthy, they can go far. Their defense is the real deal. Nick Bosa is probably going to be the defensive MVP of the season. I picked San Francisco, and I was right.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
He believes in Heineke too.
Yeah, when the refs ain't
nah. You believe in
refs ain't
Heineke,
cheating.
so we know how that
refs
goes.
ain't
All right, let's move on to the next game. This was probably this was the best game of the weekend. It
Really?
was. If you watched the whole game, it was the best game of the weekend in my opinion.
I said the Dolphins Bills was, but this
Dolphins Bills was good too.
This was the debacle was what this was.
This was a debacle on the Colts
shameful.
part, but this was the best game of the weekend in my opinion. So
Shameful.
the Indianapolis Colts traveled to the Minnesota Vikings and 39-36, only after blowing a 30-point lead. I think it was
33
33-point lead at halftime.
Biggest comeback in NFL history.
The Vikings put it on the Colts in the second half and came away with the biggest win in the biggest comeback in NFL history. Yep. So that put Matt Ryan on the biggest losing side of the biggest comeback in NFL history and the biggest comeback in the Super Bowl history. So it's time for that.
Yeah, NFL playoff history. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Y'all don't watch see like I do, but when a fighter retires, they take their gloves off and leave him in the ring. I'm gonna need Matt Ryan to leave his cleats on the field It's
They won the
time.
field.
That wasn't Matt Ryan's
Yeah.
fault, though. That wasn't Matt Ryan's
I don't
fault.
care. He's starting quarterback. It's his fault. Kirk Cousins was 34 for 54, 460 yards passing with 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 7 times. 7 times. Dalvin Cook had 17 carries for 95 yards. KJ Osborne had 10 receptions for 157 yards. He was their leading receiver. Followed by Justin Jefferson, who had 12 receptions for 123 yards. Followed by Dalvin Cook, who had 4 receptions for 95 yards. So they almost had 3 receivers or three players in 100 yards almost receiving. On the flip side, Matt Ryan was 19 for 33. He threw 1 touchdown and he was sacked 3 times. Zach Moss was the leading rusher, 24 carries for 81 yards. And the leading receiver was Michael Pittman, 10 receptions for 60 yards. It's funny because you're looking at these stats for the Colts, you wouldn't even see how they even got 33 points in the first half. But they did, but it didn't matter because the Vikings came back and walked that all away. Marcus, I'll let you start with this one.
You know, it's funny because I picked the Vikings for this game. And my whole argument last week was this wasn't a primetime game. So Kirk Cousins was going to lose. But by halftime, I was like, oh, man, why y'all let me pick this doggone game? Let me pick Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. But this game, I want to be a fly on the locker room because I want to hear that halftime speech that went on in the Vikings locker room. That has to be the biggest inspirational speech in the history of the world. It has to be greater than Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech for them to come back from 33 points. They didn't score at all in the first half, and they scored 39 points in the second half, 22 in the 14 in the third quarter, 22 in the fourth quarter, and 3 in overtime. That is outrageous to me. The Jeff Saturday experiment should be over. I mean, can you fire an interim head coach?
Yeah, you could. I don't know if that's ever been done before.
It's never happened.
No point. Yeah, ain't no point now.
Go ahead and get Reggie Wayne the job. Because if this wasn't the biggest disaster, if this is an egg on your face, if you're the Colts front office, it's embarrassing. It's strictly embarrassing. The way they dominated the first half of that game is unbelievable. If you score 33 points, I mean, and I think I heard somebody say on TV this week, all you had to do was run the ball the second half. Just run the ball the whole half and get a couple of first downs. And they couldn't have caught up with you. There wasn't enough time for them to catch up with you. If you just each drive, run the ball, get maybe 3 or 4 first downs and punt, there's no way they could cut off with you. The fact that the Colts lost this game, I mean, we're so far removed from the Peyton Manning days. It's not even funny. And I picked the Vikings and I tried to be right, but I didn't know I was trying to be right like this.
Mark?
Yeah, I took the Vikings also. The biggest comeback in 103-year history for the NFL. That's incredible. Dalvin Cook's run, he was running like a man among boys. On that one run in the second half that he ran, I didn't understand how Jordan Hicks didn't tackle him. He stopped him with the 2 or 3 yard line, and he just bowled right by him. I don't know how he didn't make that tackle. The second half fumble recovery that got called back for a touchdown was outrageous. That was clearly a fumble, and that play should have stood. I thought that was just crazy to see. But you're right. Steve Smith said it too, that Jeff Saturday should be the first interim head coach to ever be fired while he's the interim coach. That would have been funny to see. But yeah, I took the Vikings on this one, man. But poor Matt Ryan.
Man.
He just can't win, bro. He just can't win.
Can't. I picked the Vikings in this one too. Sitting there watching the game, man, just in shock by halftime. Like, what is happening right now? And then it was just like, You could feel it in the third quarter. You could just feel it start to change. And then it was crazy because the refs worked the Vikings on 2 calls, not just the one that was a clear recovery. The other one where they stripped the guy, but they said his forward progress had been stopped.
Yeah,
he was clearly still moving forward, and they stripped the ball and got that one too. And the refs, they overturned that one completely. So they overcame that big deficit, plus those bad calls by the refs. It may not even have went into overtime had they got that one fumble recovery that they called back. Had that been a touchdown. But I thought this was the best game. It was crazy, man. I thought this was the best game of the weekend. Just to see a team fight back like that, man. And the Colts was on the sideline. You could just see they knew it was slipping away, and they couldn't do nothing about it, man. And then they lost Jonathan Taylor earlier in the game too.
Yes.
So they couldn't really run the football, So I did pick the Vikings. I almost picked the Colts though, because it was just like you had that feeling like it might happen. But
you'd have been right for 2 quarters. Yeah, you've been right for 2 quarters. Hey, one more thing I want to say about this game was it the Colts' fault for calling that sneak on Matt Ryan and he got stopped? Why do you send Matt Ryan on the quarterback sneak? Why?
He's tall.
Yeah, he's tall.
Everybody's sneaking now. Like they almost have it down to a science now.
Matt Ryan is the old grandpa. You don't send grandpa in there with it.
He's still tall. You just fall forward. Just fall forward.
Just fall forward. That's what they think.
If they'd have kicked the field goal, that may have made a difference. Yeah. It may have.
Everybody's sneaking now, though, man. Everybody's sneaking now. So. All right, let's move on to the next one. We had the Baltimore Ravens traveling into Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland won this one 13-3. I guess this was just a defensive game or a really bad offensive game. We'll just
really bad offensive game.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson was 18 for 28, 161 yards, passing 1 touchdown, and he was sacked 3 times. Nick Chubb was the leading rusher, 21 carries for 99 yards. And Amari Cooper was the leading receiver, 4 receptions for 58 yards. On the flip side, Tyler Huntley, 17 for 30, 138 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and he was sacked 3 times. J.K. Dobbins, 13 carries for 125 yards, and leading receiver was Mark Andrews, 3 receptions for 31 yards. I'm gonna go first. I got this one wrong, and a big key to this was they had a couple turnovers. The Ravens did. I picked the Ravens in this one. There's only one way to say it. The Ravens was terrible without Lamar Jackson. And that's just what it boils down to. A lot of teams are going to struggle with their backup quarterback, and I get that. But they put up 3 points on the Browns. Browns have a pretty good defense.
Browns have a good defense now.
But all you could muster was 3 points. The Ravens have a problem. If Lamar and if Lamar don't come back, like they've already, I think they're fighting for a wild card now. Like the division that they've already lost the division, and I don't think Cincinnati. I think they got a game against Cincinnati later on, but Cincinnati's hot, and I don't think they're giving up that division lead. And without Lamar out there, Baltimore's not a threat to anybody. They just aren't, and it just kind of goes to show you how much Lamar has carried this team because they're not putting talent around him like they should, I think, for them to go forward. But I picked that's a whole nother topic. I picked the Ravens. I got this one wrong. Mark, who did you have in this one?
Yeah, I think the key to this one was missed opportunities. They got in the red zone about 4 times and turned the ball over on a 4th and goes 4th and short. The other thing that was surprising me, man, was Tucker missing field goals. He had one block and he missed one. You got the most accurate kicker in the NFL missing field goals? That was unheard of.
And didn't he miss one last week too? He missed one last week too.
Yeah, he had one miss and he had one block.
Yeah,
That's two
well,
back-to-back games where you missed the field goals.
And they held the. I mean, the Browns only got 13 points. I mean, that's pretty good for a defense to hold down. You got to do something on the offense. Deshaun Watson played a little bit better, no turnovers. He used his legs in his game. But you made a point too, Herman, about the Ravens. They are 1-5 in the last 6 games without Lamar Jackson. So they hurting without Lamar right now. But I took the Ravens just like you did, and I got this one wrong.
Marcus?
I took the Browns. I just felt like without Lamar there, they really couldn't win, and I was right. And this game actually this wasn't a big offensive game. It just came down to turnovers, which Baltimore had 2 and Cleveland had none. Came down to first downs, which Baltimore had 17 and Cleveland had 19, and time possession, which favored Cleveland 33-08 to Baltimore's 26-52. So it was a pretty, not exciting game, pretty much basics. And you're right, because without Lamar, they just don't win. It's because they refuse to put any real talent around Lamar. And every year we say this, it's time to get a new offensive coordinator. You got to get Lamar some wide receivers, even though what's his name, Duvernay.
He turned out.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But you need one, maybe 1 or 2 more.
You got to take a page out of Philly in the Bills. You got to find a number 1 for him, man.
And then they got that. Yeah, they got a tight end. He probably wouldn't sign with them, but somebody who should be in the Odell Beckham hunt is Baltimore.
They talked about that. Mm-hmm.
He can't do nothing for him this year, but for next year,
they can't do nothing for him this year. But next year, they need him. And that's the problem with Lamar gone. They don't have any real talent, and I'm just surprised that a Harbaugh team, coach team would be in this position. But it is what it is. I picked the Browns, and I was right.
All right, and Brian picked the Browns also. So, all right, let's move on to the Saturday night game. In this one, we had the Miami Dolphins traveling to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo won this one, and this was a good game, 32-29. Josh Allen was 25 for 40. 304 yards passing with 4 touchdowns, and he was sacked twice. Josh Allen was the leading rusher, 10 carries for 77 yards. Leading receiver was Dawson Knox, 6 receptions for 98 yards and 1 touchdown. On the flip side, Tua was 17 for 30, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. Raheem Mostert, 17 carries, 136 yards. And leading receiver was J.J. Waddle, 3 receptions for 114 yards and 1 touchdown. Mark, who did you have in this one?
I took the Bills Mafia. Josh Allen's running in the fourth quarter. I thought he was going to score in that particular play. That was a phenomenal run for him. The Bills. This was a nice snow game. It didn't start really snowing hard until like later on in the fourth quarter. Yeah. But it was, snowballs were flying. They had to threaten the fans that they were going to penalize the team for all the snowballs they were throwing down on the field. But they got their act together. The fans came together and they behaved towards the end. I do have a question for y'all though. Do you think should the Dolphins feel good about this particular game? They've been on a 3-game losing streak, but this game Tua played a much better game than he did the 2 previous ones. Would you think they feel good about this one?
I'm gonna say this about it. Like I was saying, we were talking about sitting your starters. This is a team that's good but very cold right now. They don't need to sit anybody, even if they got a lot into the playoffs. You can say more victory, but here's what I will say: they played way better than most people thought they would going into a cold.
I agree. That's the point.
Going into the cold and playing. They definitely killed that narrative. They can't play in the cold. That's why I say this was the best game of the week. It was a very good game. Miami could have won it, but Buffalo, home team, division game, they pulled it out. So yeah, but I picked Buffalo and I was right.
Well, obviously, I picked wrong. Yeah. I picked the Dolphins in this one. I had a lot of faith in the Dolphins. You know, I didn't think that the weather was going to affect them, and it didn't. You know, it's disrespectful, man. How these analysts and some of these people talk about these guys going to play in cold games. First of all, most of the Miami players didn't grow up in Miami. Okay, they live places where it played, and these are NFL football players. It's disrespectful to act like they can't go out and play in cold weather. Just come on, give me a break. And that cold weather can affect the people that play in Baltimore. I mean, just in Buffalo just as much. But yeah, I picked Miami. I got this one wrong. This was definitely a good game. I think that, like you said, Miami showed, like Marcus said, Miami showed people that we can go play in cold weather, and we're not a bunch of little sissy babies like y'all try to make us out to be. You know, we're NFL football.
We're not
players.
soft.
Yeah, you know. And they went up there in Miami. I mean, they gave Buffalo a run for their money. I still keep going back to Buffalo. You know, Buffalo, they had 150 yards rushing. But I just don't like your quarterback running 77 yards. It's going to catch up with you. If you don't think it is, ask Jalen Hurts, ask Justin Fields. It's going to catch up with you at some point. Ask Lamar. It's going to catch up with you at some point. So you better get that run, find a way. If Josh Allen can run for 77 yards, why can't your running back run for 77 yards?
Raheem Mostert had 17 carries for 136 yards.
No, I'm talking about Buffalo.
Oh, you're talking about okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about Buffalo. Yeah. Miami's run game, I thought they would win this game because of their run game. But what you call it, even though Mostert, he picked up the slack because Jeff Wilson Jr. was out. I think if Jeff Wilson Jr. had been in, that 1-2 punch might have made a bit of a difference. But I just feel like, you know, Buffalo's got to get a run game going because they could be in one of these heavy snowstorms, you know what I mean, where you need to run the football. But, you know, hats off to Buffalo. They won it, and I was wrong.
And to go back to this playing the cold weather game, like you said, I mean, just because they play in Miami, it doesn't mean these players are from Miami.
True.
So, you know,
Yeah, you know?
I used to playing in very cold weather. You know,
like they ain't never played before. All right, so let's move on to the Sunday nighter. I know it's gonna be a lot of wine going on for this one. So
whatever.
Go ahead and get your small violins out, everybody.
Rob.
All right, so the New York Giants traveled into Washington to take. Actually, they traveled into Landover to take on the Washington Commodores. The Giants won this one 20-12. Daniel Jones,
Rob.
Okay, he's whining. Okay. Daniel Jones was 21 for 32, 160 yards passing. He was not sacked. As good as that Washington defensive line is supposed to be, he was not sacked. Saquon Barkley, 8 carries for 87 yards, 1 touchdown. Richie James was the leading receiver for the Giants, 4 receptions for 42 yards. On the flip side, Taylor Heineken, 17 for 29, 249 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and he was sacked 3 times. Brian Robinson Jr., 12 carries for 89 yards. And Jahan Dotson, 4 receptions, 105 yards, and 1 touchdown. So I'll start this one off. I picked the Commodores. I don't know why I picked the Commodores.
Because they should have won. It was Rob.
I thought they were going to win this one because they were coming off. They had been a little bit hot. They were playing pretty good, even though they actually should have lost the first tie with the Giants. I felt like because the Giants blew that, in my opinion. But I picked the Commodores, and I got this one wrong. As for the officiating, I've seen worse. This is on par for the NFL.
You won't be saying this. You had to do your team.
Hey, it don't matter. Like y'all tell us when it happens to my team. Hey, it don't matter. The officiating don't matter. But this was truly on par for the NFL this season. It really was. I would say that the penalty against what's the receiver's name?
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, McLaurin. That was probably the egregious play right there. You're not going to get that pass interference call at the end of the game to decide a game. It's kind of like basketball. They're gonna let them play. You know what I mean? He was going for the ball. He didn't impede the wide receiver from catching the ball.
What game was you watching? What game was you
watching?
watching?
Hold him down. I saw an officiated game that how the NFL officiates. Like I said, the Terry call.
He was culling with the wide receiver.
Lining up. He was
cuddling him. They were spooning. That's
the last play. I didn't
even get a room.
I thought it was a good no call. It is what it is. This is officiating the NFL right now.
You are a hater.
I completely
you have to live with that. This is what it is.
You are a hater.
Mark, I'll let you.
Yeah, I took the Commanders too, man. These two teams played 2 weeks ago to a tie. I was so afraid that this game was gonna turn out to be a second tie too. Man, the pass interference call on Chris Samuels, man, it looked like there was a still shot. It looks like, you know how you take your hands and put it in between somebody's forearms and go like this? That's what it looks like the defensive back was doing to him on one of the photos.
It was a good play for the ball.
That wasn't a play for the ball.
That was pass interference.
It wasn't pass interference. It wasn't called pass interference.
It was obvious pass interference.
Uh-huh.
And you know these officials, a lack of accountability. That's the problem. They need to be accountable for it. It's crazy. And then the illegal formation call, that was just some garbage. But
that one was bad. I give you that.
The Commanders got robbed this game, man. You know,
they didn't get robbed. They lost.
Well, I never really holler the conspiracy theory, but I think somebody don't want to see the Commanders in the playoffs.
Jerry Jones paid them off. Jerry Jones paid the rest off.
I think somebody don't want to see him. I really do.
That's so they can pack into the Cowboys.
The refs not going to call. The refs aren't going to call that. They're just not. And it's happened to a lot of teams this year. So quit your belly aching. It wasn't called, and that's that.
If it happened to your team, you'd be whining and crying.
It happens to my team every week.
No, it don't.
What are you talking about?
Marcus, we know the truth. He'd be the first one that had to be hollering Bloody Murray. You know
that line call, that formation call.
That one I agree. I agree.
He looked at the ref and asked him, and it's the same ref he asked, do the flag.
No soon as the ball was hyped. He was down and he had the flag out. Soon as the ball was hyped.
But we don't know because the ref said something to him and he moved up a little centimeter, and then I think the ref told him to move up some more, and he didn't. So he pulled the flag. I mean, it is what it is. Don't cry over spilled milk. Line up. You should know how to line up. You're an NFL football player. Marcus?
Yeah, this game, Commanders should have won this game. I picked the Commanders. We were robbed. When the game was stolen, Jerry Jones paid them refs off. So the Cowboys can slide into the playoff spot after they got their button beaten by the Jaguars. It's a travesty. It's an injustice. And we still going to make it to the playoffs, and we're going to win a game. That's what I got to say about it. But yes, I picked the Commanders, and they should have won. Nobody will hear that now. I'm the sound effect dude. I'm the sound effect guy.
All right, and I'm gonna speak for my man Brian because he got this one right. So I'm gonna do that cap wave for him. He lone wolf this one. I'm lone wolfing this one for Brian. Good job, Mr. Holly. He picked this one right. He knew that the Giants were gonna win this game. I don't know why I let him lone wolf this one. I should have went with him. I don't know why I picked the Commodores, but I knew it was going to be all this belly aching about the officiating and all this and all that, but
it was blatant.
I thought it was on par for how the NFL has officiated all season long.
So, it's a conspiracy. It need to be.
Let's go ahead and move on.
I want the FBI to investigate.
Let's go ahead and move on to the last game. We had the Los Angeles Rams traveling into Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers won this one 24-12. Aaron Rodgers was 22 for 30, 229 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks. Aaron Jones, the leading rusher, 17 rushes for 90 yards. A.J. Dillon had 2 touchdowns on 11 carries for 36 yards. Leading receiver, Romeo Doubs, 5 receptions, 55 yards. On the flip side, Baker Field is back, 12 for 21, 111 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, sacked 5 times. Cam Akers, 12 carries for 65 yards. Leading receiver was Cam Akers, 3 receptions for 35 yards. I'll start this one off. Not a lot to talk about. I picked the Green Bay Packers, and I got this one wrong. I will say this. These NFL analysts on TV, y'all need to keep the same energy for all quarterbacks, because Aaron Rodgers threw the most egregious interception in that game, and the first thing they said was, "Oh, the receiver stopped his route. He didn't run his route." Don't give me that. He threw the ball like 10 yards over his head. So keep the same energy with these quarterbacks, man. Just because he's Aaron Rodgers don't mean he gets excuses. Bakerfield looked like Bakerfield again. So that 1 week was it. That was it. You know, he got that 1 week where he didn't know the playbook. He got ad-lib. He was good. Now he knows the playbook, and he ain't ad-libbing no more. So I picked the Packers. I got this one right. Marcus, you done talking about your Commodores? You can go ahead and talk about this one.
I didn't, you know, obviously the magic from last week didn't trickle over to this week for Bakerfield. You know, I figured Green Bay Packers, even though they've had a bad season, it's a home game. You know, Rams are extremely injured. No, what's the guy's name? What's the wide receiver's name? Cooper
Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. You know, I think this was an easy call. 2 bad teams playing, but obviously Green Bay is still the better team. You always usually had to go with the better quarterback, and obviously Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Bakerfield. You know, just first downs. You know, Green Bay had 27, Rams had 13, and time of possession 37-19 for Green Bay, 22-41 for the Rams. Not gonna win too many games like that, even with Rodgers doing egregious interceptions. But I picked Green Bay, and I was right.
And Mark, who you got?
Yeah, like you say, Bakerfield came back to earth on this particular game. Packers keep their playoff hopes alive, though. The Packers controlled this game the whole time, man. Aaron Rodgers, he had help all the way around, the young wide receivers, except for that one play with Watson. Looked pretty good. Running game was dominant. You know, they look like they might make a stride and make it to the playoffs with this team. But I took the Packers on this one, and they won it.
Hey, did Watkins do something? Because he got cut.
No, he got cut. No, he did not. No, Watkins didn't play.
I think they cut him to let somebody else stay or come up from the practice squad. It was
Practice squad,
okay.
right.
I was wondering if he had pissed off Aaron Rodgers or something.
Nah.
All right.
You know, it don't take much to piss off Aaron Rodgers.
It sure don't. All right. So that's our last week's game. Let's go ahead and pick this week's games, and we'll do our final thoughts, and we will get up out of here. So Thursday night game, we have the 6-8 Jaguars, who just came off a huge overtime victory for them over the Cowboys, taking on the 7-7 Jets. The Jets are starting Zach Wilson again because Mike White cannot get cleared because of his broken ribs. Who you got in this one, Mark?
Hey, man, I think the Jaguars are probably the hottest team right now. You do not want to face. I'm taking the Jaguars.
Marcus?
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Jaguars. I remember last week we was talking about who could upset the division and come back. And I kind of shot you down on the Jaguars overtaking the Titans. But that's looking very much real these days.
Especially after last week's win.
Yeah.
No, especially after Tannehill's out for the rest of the season.
Oh, is it?
Yes, that news broke today.
So what's his name? The dude from Liberty.
Malik Willis will start.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I think you were right, Homer. I think the Jaguars are going to take the division. They might win out. So yeah, I'm picking the Jaguars for this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jaguars too. Did Holly send y'all his picks?
Are they in the group? Let me look in the group. I don't think he did. Are they in the group chat?
I ain't seen him. All right, I thought maybe he was gonna jump on and give us his picks, but I'm just gonna assume it. All right, well he'll post them hopefully he'll post them, but yeah, I'm going with the Jags too. Like you said, the Jags are definitely hot right now. They beat a hot team this past weekend, and I mean they came back from 17 down to do it. You know that team helped them out a lot with it. Dumbass coaches. But anyway, I'm gonna go with the Jags on this one. This ought to be a good one though, because the Jets really need this game. So,
Yeah.
but because they got to start Zach Wilson,
This
All right.
this will be a good game.
yeah. All right. So moving on to the next game, we got the 13-1 Eagles traveling into Dallas to take on the 10-4 Cowboys. Looks like Jalen Hurts is not going to play in this game due to a shoulder injury. This game really doesn't mean a whole. Well, it kind of means a lot because the Eagles do still need to keep winning in order to keep get the number 1 seed until they've secured it. So I'll go first with this one. I'm picking my Cowboys. I think they're going to bounce back on this one. They have no choice but to bounce back in this one. Mark, who you got?
I got no bounce back for the Cowboys. I'm taking the Eagles.
And we know who hater Marcus has.
I ain't said it yet. I'm taking the Eagles. I feel like even without Jalen Hurts, the defense is good enough to shut down Dallas. I'm taking the Eagles.
And I know that my fellow Cowboys fan. I'm not Lone Wolfer. There's no way in hell he's picking the Eagles. So
He's not here, so you low with it, sir.
Okay. All right.
Wearing that dust cap next week.
Moving on to the next one, we have the 7-7 Seahawks who just came off of that loss, going into Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, the 11-3 Chiefs. Chiefs need to keep winning in order to secure the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, who you got in this one?
I'm taking the Chiefs, even though I think this is going to be a good game, to be honest with you. But I'm taking the Chiefs on this one. I think they will prevail.
Marcus?
I also think this will be a very, very close game. I don't think the Chiefs are going to walk away with this one, but I am picking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs in this one, but I don't think this is going to be a close game.
You don't think so?
I think the Chiefs are going to run away with this one. They struggled against Houston last week, and then I think they're going to come out and just dominate.
Yeah, they barely beat Houston last week.
Yeah, but that's why I think they're going to dominate Seattle this week. They're going to get back on track. I just don't see it being close. So I'm going with the Chiefs. All right, next one up. 10-4 Bengals traveling into New England to take on the 7-7 Patriots, who just came off of the most disastrous loss you can possibly have. There's no way in the world I'm picking the Patriots after the dumb mess I just saw from them last week. So give me the Bengals. Marcus?
Considering the 20-year history of the Patriots, whoever thought that I'd be picking the Bengals to come in there and beat them, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm picking the Bengals. Bengals are hot. They're obviously the better team. The Bengals are going to make a deep playoff run, no doubt. They might even make it back to Super Bowl. I'm picking the Bengals.
And Mark?
Who that gonna beat them Bengals? It won't be the Patriots. I'm taking the Bengals.
Speaking of Bengals, did y'all hear all those fans that was in Tampa Bay?
No, I'm not surprised.
I didn't know Cincinnati traveled like that.
Yeah, they had a lot.
I mean, you heard it a lot. Talking about who they, all throughout the game.
All right, so our Sunday night game, our Christmas game, actually, 6-8 Bucks traveling into Arizona to take on the 4-10 Cardinals. Boy, I don't know why they didn't flex this one out. Good grief. Marcus, who you got in this one? This
Should
might
have
be
put
a
the
little
Bengals Patriots
hard.
game there.
Yeah.
The Cardinals without no Kyler Murray, I might have to take the Bucks, even though the Bucks have been looking terrible. If Kyler Murray was there, I'd probably take the Cardinals, but I gotta take the Bucks. And the Bucks need to keep winning.
McCoy's not playing either in this one.
Oh, it was not.
Mark.
Oh, they on
Yeah,
Thursday.
Because he has a concussion.
Yep.
Oh, it did. Oh, simple. Bucks
Yeah.
all day. Bucks all day.
Mark.
The Bucks all the way.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks too. As bad as the Bucks look, the Cardinals look worse. If the Bucks, I can't see the Bucks losing this one.
And they need this. They need this win.
They do because the other sorry teams in the NFC South are creeping up on them. So yeah, give me the Bucks too. And the last game, we have the 8-6 Chargers going into Indianapolis to take on the 4-9 Colts. The Colts are starting Nick Folk this week. Matt Ryan has been officially benched. I don't even know if he's the backup. I'm assuming he's the backup, maybe. Give me the Chargers in this one. Chargers are starting to get their footing too. They're playing hot, and the Colts are a dumpster fire, and they could get up by 50 and probably still lose this game in the second half. So, give me the Chargers. Mark, who you got in this one?
I'm predicting this game. The Colts gonna be leading at halftime, but the Chargers gonna come back to win it. I'm taking the Chargers in this one.
And Marcus.
I don't even think this is a question of whether or not the Chargers are going to win. I'm picking the Chargers. I think the better question is how many times Staley's going to go for it on fourth down.
Right.
That's what you need to place your bets on. Chargers are going to win this game.
All righty. So those are our picks for the week. And that is wrapping up the show. We will do our final thoughts now. I will give my final thought. Just want to thank everybody that tunes in and watches us, and everybody that watches us whenever you get a chance. You know, we really appreciate you guys. This is the time for holidays and good family time. So I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and enjoy and be safe, and just spend time with your family, because love and family is what's most important. It's not about the gifts. You know, it's about love, family, and that's it. So, Merry Christmas. I wish y'all Happy New Year next week. Mark.
Yeah, I end this final thought with Steelers Nation lost legendary running back for the Steelers, Franco Harris. Found out died early this morning. He was an ambassador for the Steelers. When you couldn't think of the Steelers back in the day in the 70s without thinking about number 32. A lot of the former players and his players he played with talk about how beloved and how humble he was. And this weekend was the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, and his jersey was to be retired. There's only 3 football players in Pittsburgh's history the jersey is going to be retired, and he was one of them. With heavy heart, Steelers Nation, my condolences goes out to the Steelers Nation and the Franco Harris family, and Merry Christmas to you. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
All right. My final thought is, basically, this week is Christmas. Like Herman said, just enjoy the time, enjoy your family. Enjoy the day, enjoy the time off. We at this time of year again, and just Merry Christmas. That's it. That's all. Before we get out of here, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, join our Facebook group, Delay of Game. We're also on Twitter at Delay of Game 3, on Instagram at the official Delay of Game. We will see you next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. We out. Merry Christmas.
Peace. Merry Christmas.